Please move to ordinance number 3 and read.
Ordinance number 3, O-2016-00028, ordinance, Essex County Clean Jobs Initiative, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake.
Thank you. This ordinance, I'd like to start off by reading something. It says, now the problem is not only unemployment. Do you know that the most of the poor people in our country are working every day? And they are making wages so low that they cannot begin to function in the mainstream of economic life of our nation. These are facts which must be seen. And it is criminal to have people working on a full-time basis and a full-time job getting part-time income. You are here tonight to demand that Memphis will do something about the conditions that our brothers face as they work day in and day out for the well-being of the total community. You are here to demand that Memphis will see the poor. That is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, and I find that to be extremely appropriate, especially because we just on Monday celebrated a national holiday for Dr. King. And it also is within the same spirit that this ordinance is coming to fruition and is expected to pass tonight, called Clean Jobs. What Clean Jobs is for the board, for the record, for the final time until we have to ensure that it's carried out, is there's a high unemployment rate in Essex County and in New Jersey as a whole. There's also a need to make our communities healthier by cleaning up contaminated lots known as brownfields, maintaining infrastructure by abating lead and asbestos. I'm sure everyone can remember what occurred last spring with the water being found in school systems not too far from where we sit today. And there's also a need to attract more businesses and corporations to Essex County that will also provide jobs and local residents return tax ratables to the community and generate revenue for Essex municipalities. So Clean Jobs combines all of those needs, and it creates a robust job placement and career training opportunity to train the unemployed, as was mentioned in the quote, but also the underemployed, also mentioned in the quote. And that is what this ordinance does. This ordinance is something that was being worked on for over a year. Steve, I see you here. Would you please stand and come to the microphone? This is a collaboration with Steve Cahies along with Ironbound Community Corporation and a lot of other practitioners and professionals in environmental issues, as well as in having experience with training programs and trying to tackle the issue of unemployment. This is something that I am very proud of because I believe it's what we're supposed to be doing as a county. And this here tonight is just the passing of the legislation initiating the Clean Jobs Initiative. I'd also like to thank the administration. Ralph, thank you for working with me on this ordinance and seeing it through. And I know that we're going to even hit all of the goals that and the objectives of its original intent that as we pass it here tonight. Steve, would you like to say something?
Yes, I'd like to bring you up to date on what we're doing to try to implement the ordinance if it gets adopted here.
Absolutely, and if you could just state your name and affiliation for the record.
My name is Stephen Keyhays. I work with J.M. Sorgi Environmental Consultants. I have over 30 years experience working with the remediation and redevelopment of brownfield sites, and I'm serving as an advisor in an advisory role to help the Division of Training and Employment craft a program that would be eligible for a DPA grant and kickstart the job training workforce development program that's embodied in the ordinance, excuse me. So the request for proposal was released by EPA recently. We are, the application is due February 24th. We're working very hard. We'll meet that deadline. but our hope is to be able to acquire a $200,000 grant that we'll use as startup monies to get the program started. There has been a commitment from the administration to maintain the program after the startup, and a real brief description of the program follows. We expect that there'll be 3 cycles of 20 enrollments, 5 months apart, so 60 enrollments to get all together. We are setting a minimum placement rate of 70%. We hope for higher. We are now reaching out to employers and folks that do this type of work in the county to get their support. We're asking them to give us a demonstration of their support and a demonstration of their willingness to hire graduates of the program. It will be run out of the current Career Stop program that the county maintains, so we're not creating a brand new program from scratch. We're going to use what already exists and supplement it. Our target population is ex-offenders, out-of-school youth, veterans and spouses of veterans who are unemployed, underemployed, or economically disadvantaged, dislocated workers, and others, as you mentioned earlier, underemployed and unemployed. We are we are hoping to partner with several nonprofits, including the Ironbound Community Corporation, who does have job training programs of their own and has offered the use of their facility on New York Ave as a site to conduct some of the training. A lot of the details of the program haven't been flushed out yet. We're still working on it, but we have that part, we have that location anyway set aside. The type of training that we're going to provide is the 40-hour OSHA hazardous waste operations training, confined space, scaffolding, mold abatement, asbestos removal, lead removal. We'd like to get some equipment operator training including forklift, a CDL possible. We're shooting to provide training so that graduates can come out with a Class A or B CDL license, making it more employable. We're looking for a wide range of potential employers. It's not just one discipline in the environmental cleanup field. The problem with previous workforce job training programs has been that they were very limited in what they trained their graduates for. We're trying to widen that out a little bit to make them more employable. They'll have confined space, scaffolding, and there will be some pre-enrollment requirements. And if they don't have those requirements, we're going to have to work to help them get those requirements. I think our biggest challenge is going to be a driver's license. I think the program's biggest challenge is placing these graduates in true employment afterwards. We have contacted with folks that do hire graduates of job training programs like this. The Institute of Social Justice had a similar program that no longer is working, but through the contacts that we have down there, we've identified a temporary agency that will hire them. We have a full-time agency, an environmental construction company that is accustomed to hiring the temps, and if they work out over a couple months, take them on full-time. So we're starting to make some headway on identifying final employers. We're at the beginning of the process, but we're confident we'll make the EPA grant deadline, and further details will follow.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve. And one thing about me is I don't claim to know everything. And what I do is I go out and I find professionals who can provide information to me in order to do this legislation. And Steve, from the very beginning, volunteered his time and his help because he does have experience with the environmental and the EPA. And from the very beginning, so I want to thank you, Steve, as well as Ironbound Community Corporation in doing this. And as you mentioned, we even have the meat in this ordinance. This is not just a training program. And the numbers that he gave you about 3 classes of 20 is just a startup so that we can, the vision is to start to train hundreds, okay? Cleaning up brownfields, lead, and asbestos is a very lucrative career opportunity that can be used if somebody wants to go and work on a site as a union member, or it can be used if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur. And the meat in this ordinance is also that after we have a workforce that is trained, anything that this county is going out for solicitation for. If there is any component of environmental cleanup that has to happen, or lead and asbestos abatement, then 90% of the workforce that company, whoever wins the award to the contract to do that work, will have to pull 90% of their workforce from the workforce in which we are training, and Steve just eloquently laid out. So this is something that we hope for in the long term will evolve into something even greater. And the ordinance also speaks to working with municipalities throughout Essex, where when they are going out for solicitation, helping them with their language, so that if they're doing something, it could be East Orange, not even on a county site, or it could be anybody's municipality, any one of us, you know, wherever we help. It could be Livingston, Freeholder, Seabold, it could be anywhere. And that the person who wins the solicitation would need to pull from workforce as well. The vision is to help the municipalities to even adopt something quite similar. And the clean properties may even be available, you know, for if it's just a complete vacant lot and a city wants to clean up a property, we'll have a workforce available to help them to do that as well, making it available for future economic development. So I thank this board, I thank this body, I thank the staff, I thank Michael Polavecchio, who was with me from the very beginning with this. And we had a lot of back and forth with how this could be done and what exactly it looked like. And there's just a lot of hands in it. It's not just me by myself. It's all of us together. And I just want to say thank you so much. That's what this is. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, Mr. McInerney, no. Mr. Polavecchio.
No questions.
Freeholders. Do I have a mover and a second to open public comment?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Jones. Is there a second to open public comment?
Second.
Okay. Second by Freeholder Toro. We're going to open up the public section for ordinance number 0/2016-00028 for a public hearing. If there's any member of the public wishing to comment for or against this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect we have no member of the public wishing to speak at this time. I would like to move this ordinance, and I'm going to look for a second for a vote. Freeholder Jones would like to second. So moved by myself, seconded by Freeholder Jones for a vote. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.